there are fresh demolitions that have been taken place. That particular building from where the stones were being pelted on the VHP, Shobha Yatra, that particular building has been razed completely. When the bulldozer justice began, people constantly began comparing, the Yogi Adityanath-led government and the Manohar Lal Khattar-led government, and how the two were, dealing with bulldozer justice. Many saying that what's happening in Haryana is not really justified. But on the other hand, there were several people that said that this is exactly what should be happening. It's a BJP blueprint that's working great in Uttar Pradesh. Why not carry it out in Haryana as well? We know that in Madhya Pradesh, Shivraj Singh Chauhan has also administered bulldozer justice. So 60 new fresh buildings that were demolished over the weekend in Nuh. No notices were sent to these owners in particular, and Nuh again being that Muslim dominated sensitive area. Monu Manesar at the center of it all. What is it that you are picking up? We know that these are some knee-jerk reactions coming in from the government. We know that life was completely thrown out of gear in those areas in the outskirts of Delhi NCR. Also, if Gurugram is kept as the point of focus. But apart from that, knee-jerk reactions. People were saying that bulldozer justice wasn't really justified in this case, and proper lapses by the police that were out in the open.
See, the local administration failed completely, Kabir. They did not even gauge the kind of situation that was building up, and there was a yatra that was going through it. Where was the security? Where was the personnel for that yatra? And then you have stone pelting also happening at the same time. The entire warning was, people were issuing warnings on social media, and you're telling me that the local police did not have an inkling about it unless they decided to in fact slip it down the surface. But however, after having said that, I was just looking at that picture of that hotel that you were in fact speaking about. They have in fact raised it. I'll just put that picture out if possible and show as to how that particular bulldozer justice that we were talking about tend to in fact move on to this. So I'll just show that picture here. This is that hotel or that area from which a lot of people had in fact ensured that they would stand on the top of this hotel and they would pelt that stone. So
that's that particular
hotel that we are looking at.
All
and that hotel, we can see how from here they were actually throwing stones at the people who were coming for the yatra, the Jal Abhishek Yatra, and that was also predominantly seen in many of the videos that had come out from Nuh, especially with stones hurled from the top of this hotel. So that hotel has been in fact looked into, targeted, and probably even seen how its location is what would have led to the pelters, the stone pelters, to use it. That has been
the common claim, Varghese, and I've got a picture here in the city as well. It says no notice issued has been the common claim as demolitions continue for the 4th day. It's got a small, a tiny looking bike, a tiny looking motorbike that is going on a road with raised, constructions on either side of that tiny little bike. That's the picture that they put out. Rubble lines the road in Nuh's Nalhar village following the demolition drive. But on the other hand, Nuh administration says only illegal buildings have been brought down.
That's
when the common claim by the owners is that no notices were sent out as these demolitions continue for the 4th day in a row. Now, take a look at politics, Varghese.
Before you move on, I'll just bring you a little bit of statistics. Just 2 lines. Give me a second.
Right.
The line over here, the Nuh administration continued its demolition drive in the violence hit district for 4th straight day on Sunday, with authorities raising 94 houses and 212 other structures, taking the total number of buildings leveled to more than 750 since the drive began.
750 in the last 4 days.
Yeah.
In the last 4 days. Now, take a look at this. Call goes out at a panchayat in Gurugram village which says, release our innocent brothers. Meeting held despite prohibitory orders in force in the district. Demanding the release of innocent Hindu men, a panchayat at Gurgaon's Tigra village called for the removal of the mosque in Sector 57, an economic boycott of Muslims, and a chakka jam. The meeting, held despite prohibitory orders being in force in the district, comes days after the arrest of 4 men from the village in connection with the murder of Naib Imam of the Anjuman Jama Masjid in Sector 57. And there are also reports that are doing the round that it was so pre-planned, it went down exactly to the T. That particular murder It wasn't as if the mob, got inside the mosque and the imam's death was just a subsequent consequence of the mob overtaking the mosque.
Also, this
It
question-
was a targeted attack.
First of all, also the kind of manner in which the speech has gone out. I'm just reading some of the quotes of the person who made that speech. This is what is being said. Kulbhushan Bhardwaj, a Bajrang Dal member, alleged that the cases registered in News connection with the violence are against unidentified people, but in Gurugram, the suspects have been named. He claimed that the people arrested were not part of the mob. In a more direct thread, Bhardwaj said there are hundreds of Muslim men working in Gurugram as vegetable vendors, mechanics and cab drivers, and we have always supported them, but now we will ensure they don't get any
He said-
support.
he also
as they are
referred to the
responsible for
1992
disrupting peace in the
riots.
city. That's what I'm trying to say. How
Referred
can
to the 1992
you have
riots,
such a,
said
you have people coming out openly making threats like
a
this. And what's the
reaction took place
administration doing?
then, and then too, we were victorious. These are the calls that are being put out. I mean, if the central agencies have read this by now, isn't this hate speech right out in the
It's
open?
a hate speech right out in the open.
Isn't this hate
And
speech crime?
why is it that no one is taking cognizance? A lot of reports coming in the newspapers about
Every
it.
Hindu of Mewat knows how to protect himself. The committee you have formed, pointing to towards the panchayat, whatever decision you will take, I do not care. I do not care that I am MLA. I am with the Hindu society. This is the MLA that is coming out in support of this particular panchayat, which was held despite prohibitory orders that were in force in the district. Calls were made to remove the Sector 57 masjid. The suggestion should be included in the memorandum that we are giving, said Daima. Satvir Khatana of Sona, one of the main speakers of the panchayat, said, we should take everyone along in society, but those who are guilty must be punished. The main purpose of this panchayat is that innocent Hindus picked up by police should be released as soon as possible. But whilst we're talking about that, let's also talk about how, 1992, the Hindus won again, and how the Sector 57 place of worship of the Muslims should go away. I mean, we're talking about a secular, country. Doesn't look so secular right on the outskirts of the national capital region.
Well,
It is
in
the national
Panipat-
capital we're talking about, aren't we?
In Panipat, shops of Muslim traders have been attacked, is what the cops are saying. Tension prevailed in Sector 25 in Panipat on Sunday when a group of unidentified miscreants vandalized the properties owned by Muslims and said Panipat police. The miscreants targeted a barber shop owned by Shanwaj and a chicken shop owned by Irshad. Now, the CPI delegation has been stopped from entering Nu. A 4-member delegation of the Communist Party of India was stopped from entering violence-affected areas in Gurugram and Nu on Sunday, said police, adding that Section 144 is in place and that the delegation was stopped due to security reasons. The delegation included CPI Rajya Sabha MP Binoy Vishwam, CPI General Secretary and Amarjit Kaur, Party MP P. Santosh Kumar and Party Leader Darya Singh Kashyap. So the CPI had sent a delegation to find out.
I'm more interested in how the viewers are viewing this. Please do get down in the comment section. Tell us about how you feel about these open calls comparing to what is going to happen, foreseeing the near future at these panchayats, where clear open demands of Hindu brothers being released from jail and being compared to the 1992 bloodshed. That is something that really shouldn't happen. I mean, it wasn't that
should give a
bloodshed
clarion
enough,
call for
is
bloodshed in this
my
country.
question.
This country is one of the most beautiful mosaics that the world has ever. There have been nations talking about this. There have been ideations in the West and across the world talking about.
They love us.
Having a multi-religious, multi-ethnic, multi-group, and of course we are the only country that has achieved it as a civilization, and we are destroying it when we come to the modern era. But before we in fact end it, there is one small positive story from the Tribune. This Haryana Yatra is epitome of communal harmony. Even as the Vishwa Hindu Parishad's Bajrang Dal Jalabhishek Yatra started 3 years ago, would be remembered as the worst communal clashes that Haryana has ever seen. Another pilgrimage that passes through Mewat region continues to be an epitome of harmony. The 84 Coast Braj Yatra, which started on July 4th and will last till August 16, is said to be happening since time immemorial. Originating from Mathura, even Shravan, the Yatra witnesses thousands of devotees walking barefoot for about 252 kilometers. In Haryana, it passes through several villages of Nu and Palwal, including Vichor, Nimkas and Son. Mio Muslim inhabitants of these villages are participants in the celebrations as they shun non-vegetarian food during the holy month. They also prepare food for the pilgrims, provide them shelter at night in their homes, and even massage their feet as part of khidmat.
You know, this is something that we can definitely
the story that
talk
we should
about.
be focusing
We
upon.
should be focusing
This is
on this
actually
story.
the kind of story
Let's
we should
actually
be
try and
focusing
do something on this today. But even as you know, we're talking about on a positive note, I'm actually happy to leave that story on that particular positive note.